Welcome to the end of the world, survivors. You're tuned in to the station, one of the last voices on the airwaves. I'm Harper, or as I've come to call myself, DJ Clueless, broadcasting from a radio station that somehow still hums with life. I'm no longer alone, but the work of growing food and establishing contact with others is endless. This is where we fight back, where we build back up again. I'll be your guide through the madness, sharing the locations of safe havens, theories and information about our new world, and the occasional existential crisis that comes with a zompocalypse. The world's gone dark, the dead outnumber the living, but many have started to rebuild some of what we've lost. The only real question is, what's next? Stick around if you're still alive. Welcome to the Zombie Apocalypse Survivor Radio Show. This is Harper, also known as DJ Clueless, although I'm going by that moniker less and less as I figure things out here in our hellscape apocalypse land, you know? So one of the things that I find the most difficult to deal with in this apocalyptic land that we call home is the slowness. You know, zombies are on foot, and even if they're running full out, it's still not terribly fast. And we got reports of this horde coming down. It is just now in Ohio, and a couple of the Pennsylvania settlements have gone dark. We are hoping that is damage to radio equipment and not the horde ate them or made them join. But without communication, we have no way of knowing. I got to tell you, I really miss the world, and the normal world, but God, satellite feeds would be great here because the horde's big enough that, oh gosh, we have reports that they can see a dust cloud from it, like from the feet walking, because apparently in Pennsylvania right now, they have a drought going on, which, you know, down here in southern Illinois, we didn't know about because we've been getting plenty of rain. It's actually been the perfect summer here in southern Illinois to grow things. Plenty of rain, plenty of sunshine, which is kind of a hard combo to get. But anyway, so we are preparing like mad. There has been a lot of debate while taking fencing down to protect the fencing and just let the zombie horde move through was discussed. Eventually that idea was voted down, and the more laborious solution happens to be we fortify the crap out of everything. So I am still going out and trying to find more settlements, trying to establish trade. 2 or 3 times a week, I leave with a group of people and, a carriage full of food. Not a carriage, but, like wagony thing. Considering it's very, very makeshift, we don't even know what to call it. The ugly thing, we put all of our fruits and veggies in. So through that, I have met up with a settlement in Goreville. We've gotten saddles. We came back with a lot more food for them, and they had a lot more supplies for us, especially when it came to weaponry. I don't know why a high ropes course would have C4, but apparently they had just a crap ton of it, because we told them about the horde that was coming, and they feel like they are high enough up. If they are silent during the horde's passing, the horde may not even notice that they're there. Their protocol is everybody goes inside, everything goes dark, no fire, no light, no talking. And he said it's tedious and boring, but you don't die. You make noise, you turn on a light, you make a fire. They'll camp out underneath the trees until ever, basically. So they said that they've had smaller hordes move through without incident. This horde is big enough, it may be a few weeks of them being quiet. So they are teaching each other hand signals and getting a lot of paper. Apparently they have dry erase boards. And this may be showing my age, but I don't know if anybody remembers back in the world, the Buffy the Vampire Slayer TV show. There was an episode called Hush, and it was one of the best episodes of the show, by the way. They all lose their voices. So everybody loses their voices. They're walking down the street and they see this guy selling whiteboards with strings around the neck so you can write on it and communicate with people. So they got a bunch of different whiteboards. Not enough for everybody because, it's not a common thing really. But yeah, so they are prepared on that front. They gave us also pikes, and not like, I'm going to throw a javelin, more like, I don't know, like, think of, like, it's like 6 inches in diameter, like big round things. And what they have done in various places is lined the ground with those facing outwards because the zombies just plow right into them. And so if we have anything that we want to protect or that we need to keep them out of, do that. So I have been going out and delivering supplies and bringing back new supplies and doing that over and over and over again. People here are digging ditches and setting up booby traps and setting up ways to funnel the zombies away from us and have them move on. We don't know if any of these things will work, but we are trying them. And it's so funny. Queenie and Priya are talking about this like, no, we're building infrastructure. This is the zombie apocalypse, and during the zombie apocalypse, you need zombie apocalypse infrastructure. And for me, it's more destructure, I guess. So, and when I say that they're digging ditches, you probably are not getting the scope. Our tech guy figured out how to get some heavy machinery working. And it's really, I don't know how he's doing it. I think it's magic, which probably just means I don't understand the technology. But the solar panel hookup that he rigged for this, I guess it's a bulldozer, like it has a big scoop on the front that lifts stuff out. You like sit in a little cab, it has the army thing that bends down and the tilty scoop. I don't know what they're called. So I guess I am still DJ Clueless. I need to maybe get myself a visual dictionary or something on one of my next jaunts out to get supplies. So when I say they're digging a ditch, it's like 10 feet across and maybe 10 feet down. Basically, they stopped digging when it kept filling with water. So they have that kind of almost all the way around where the people are going to be staying. There's that building in the vocational college where most everybody is staying. And so if you move outward from the college just a little bit, then you have the station, the radio station where Queenie, Priya, and I live. And you have half of the fields. You go out a little bit more, you get all of the fields. You go out a little bit more, and that's where they're putting the ditch in. And I don't know if they're going to get it done in time. But that's what they're doing. We will have bridges across that we can put down and take up, basically. So I don't know if that particular thing will be done in time, but they are also setting up radio stations, or speakers, I guess, where I will be broadcasting music, and then we have this line of speakers going throughout the town and out of the town. And that line of speakers skirts our entire setup totally. So what we're hoping is when we see the zombies, we start playing music. They go to the first station. Then the second station starts playing music and the first station stops. And we just relay these zombies out of town. That is some of the plan. But the horde is big enough that there is a lot of fear that we'll just split them in half, you know, like half will go to the radio and half will come at us. But we have our own protocols in place. When we're inside the buildings, and we tested this, you can play music or scream as loud as you want. People outside can't hear. Most of these buildings are, I guess it would be called brutalism. They're like concrete blocks. You know, the station is basically a square plug of concrete that somebody built inside of. And the college is also about as ugly. But you have like a foot of concrete all the way around you everywhere. So sound doesn't get out real easy. So we can actually, in the vocational building, be as loud as we want to. The same with the radio station, especially if we're in the radio booth, because that's already, you know, very sound dampening, both inside and out for, you know, radio reasons. So anyway, the point is we have lots of plans, but I gotta tell you guys, the suspense is killing me. Like, I would rather just be in the fight and dealing with the zombies passing through than waiting and waiting and waiting. And I think that I'm probably driving Priya and Queenie crazy because they keep sending me out. And I keep going, no, I can help set up stuff here. They're like, nope, go get stuff. So I think my anxiety over that probably is very apparent to everyone. So I am sorry for stressing them out. But oh my God, there's a part of me that's like, just get here now, zombies. Oh my God, just let's get this over with. But, you know, they're in Ohio now. And probably if they're still moving in a southwesterly direction, may come this way, they may break off and go south. They may go east. Who knows? They may turn around and go north and follow the pikers. I don't know. I should probably tell you about the pikers. Oh, this last time that I was traveling, there was, oh gosh, I think 6 of them, all men. And I don't know if they used to be like a SEAL team together or what, but they were tight. They very much seemed to know what they were doing. They had like a pattern they were walking in and everything like that. So when they saw me, it's me and like 4 of my people and a wagon full of food and a couple horses. They were pretty friendly. They gave us a wave. I think it helps that they were all men and we were women. We may be in the zombie apocalypse, but men are less threatened by women, even here, when all of us have guns and have clearly survived killing zombies. You'd think they'd be a little more cautious, but anyway, we weren't harmful, so they were right not to be. They were stopped to fix their vehicle and scope out the place for more food. They have basically an electric vehicle, and they have been stopping at various solar farms. And somehow they're able to tap into the solar farm grid and get the thing working. And I don't know how. And their leaders said, you know, there's something weird going on with this apocalypse. People's natural abilities seem to have been given an extra oomph. And what he said is they didn't have the equipment to tap into the solar panels. But their guy MacGyvered something. You know, he was like, yeah, we just gave him a bubblegum wrapper and some toothpicks. Not really, but... And he said that their electric vehicle shouldn't really be working. But it's almost like this guy goes, no, I'm going to make it work, and it just decides to work. And he says that the guy totally denies this and says, no, I'm fixing it. But we think he's fixing it because he's magic. Kind of like how Violet can, you know, set people on fire, how I can tell truth from lies and apparently destroy somebody's ego with the truth. But only if they have a fragile ego. There were other people who, you know. Anyway. Other people who I did the truth stuff handled it just fine because they weren't awful. Anyway. None of that is the point. The point is, these guys have, first of all, they escaped Chicago after it was quarantined. I didn't know that was possible. I didn't think anybody got out of Chicago once it was quarantined. Because once it was quarantined, it was, by that point, Chicago was kind of done. You know, when you have a very densely populated area, one zombie can kill a whole building in an hour, you know, because you bite one, that one bites one, then you have two biting, and it just grows exponentially. Maybe not quite, but on that level of fast. Anyway, they made it out of Chicago, and they did it by killing a crap ton of zombies, and they apparently blew a hole in the wall. I didn't even know the wall was that sturdy. I just thought it was like, armed guards there, at least when Chi-Town fell. But nope. Apparently the walls they built were hella sturdy. And so they blew it up because they apparently had the equipment to do that. And while I was thinking SEAL team, they're actually just a demolition crew. So they just blow shit up. That's kind of what they did. So they have been continuing their work in our hellscape here. And I told them, you know me, I'm a talker. I told them everything about the plant and Malcolm and the studies that Malcolm has done. And I told them about, Jim from Seattle and how many zombies he'd killed and how that brought the zombies down on us. And oh my God, the guy I was talking to, who everybody called Mac. I didn't really get his name, but they called him Mac. Mac was basically like, we had no idea that was happening, but we kind of were placing odds that was happening. Because part of the reason they have the electric vehicle is if they are on foot, they have to walk 24/7 or the zombies will catch up with them, because zombies don't need to sleep and they don't need to rest. So they have the EV so they can go 40 to 60 miles an hour and get ahead by several days. So needless to say, they were in Pennsylvania. And according to them, they blew quite a few zombies to hell. But when you're dealing with a horde that spans as far as you can see on the horizon, sometimes you have to run. So what I told them is that there's a good chance that zombies will continue to follow them, that they have become a zombie magnet. I told them Jim from Seattle's story. I told them about Violet, and I tried to not make it seem like I hated her very guts, because I sent them to Jim and Violet. According to relays from Canada down the West Coast moving this way, because there's like several different radio relays. It's like a weird game of telephone on the radio. Anyway, so we told them about the group of people in Canada who, unlike the High Ropes course, have like almost an Ewok village in trees. And that the reason they have that is because zombies are after them constantly. And it's pretty much, they're not going to stop killing zombies, so they may as well find a place to live where they can be safe from the zombies that will relentlessly pursue them. And they were like, oh, okay. They were actually planning on going to, I think, Memphis for some reason. But, I don't really know what the reasoning was. We didn't really talk about that. There was a lot going on because we were giving them a crap ton of food. Because here's the thing. People who kill a massive amount of zombies, I consider friend. With the exception of Violet, I consider those people friends and allies because they are getting rid of swaths of zombie population to help us live. And I think that we are going to have a society where, much like a weather report, you get the zombie report, like we know the zombies are coming. We are aware that the zombies are coming because we got the zombie report. So we have been doing weather, we have been doing zombie reports and that sort of thing. But the sheer amount of work that people in the station have been putting in to growing, to canning the food and preserving the food, to taking care of the horses and the goats and all of the other animals that we have acquired, to digging ditches and putting up, the relay stations. Like, not for nothing, everybody is going to bed completely exhausted, completely depleted. And I think that part of my desire for the zombies to just get here already is so we can all just sleep for a week while the zombies pass through. Like, we have no choice but to rest, which is probably the most charitable way of looking at this horde, because if I look at it as is a horde that spans the horizon and brings up dust like a herd of buffalo, I kind of want to panic. And curl into a ball and just scream, because, at a certain point, it's like, yeah, I'm in the apocalypse, but I'm getting food, and I'm getting supplies, and I'm doing things, and it's okay, and it's okay, and it's okay. And oh my God, right now, it's not okay. Everything is awful, and I hate everything. Okay, it's okay. We're going on. Like, the adaptability of humans is impressive as all get out, but there's always a part of my brain going, yeah, we're adapting, but oh my God, and just screaming about it. So, anyway, their path from Pennsylvania, near as we can tell, is the exact path that the zombie horde is coming. So they decided then and there, and we were not even, we were a town or two away from my town at this point. And so we showed them, because, oh my God, maps are gold, guys. Paper maps are gold. Once the internet was lost, paper maps have saved me over and over and over again. And I got to tell you, a lot of the rest areas in Illinois, they have free maps. They have map, just on the wall when you go in to go to the bathroom. Because nobody closed those up. They were just left open, I think, on the thought of, when this is over, we'll come back. But we've run into a lot of those places. They did not maintain their cleanliness, though, I can tell you that much. And a few of them looks like raccoons have been hiding out in. So anyway, so we showed him on a map where this settlement in Canada is, and, kind of charted out the best way to do it. Because, if you're going through Canada, you have to go back up through Chicago, or you need to take a route that skirts Chicago entirely. And so, yeah, we debated all of that. And I told him, the closer you get to Chicago, the more cars and things are going to be blocking the road. And he was just like, yeah, we escaped Chicago, we know. I'm like, okay, well, I will not teach Grandma how to suck eggs here, and we'll let you get on. But we gave them a lot of fruit and a lot of vegetables and that sort of thing. I think it had been a long time since I had fresh food. One of the guys acted like he was basically in love with strawberries, I will say. But the amount of happy noises he made left us all a little concerned about his relationship to strawberries, I'll tell you that much. But no, that was just teasing. They seemed like good guys. And apparently the reason they look so cut is just surviving the apocalypse on very scant rations, People who have six-pack abs have very, very, very little body fat. Because most of us have abs. It's covered with a little bit of layer or something. So if you're seeing abs, you should give that poor guy a sandwich, unless that's the look he's going for. But at a certain point, it's like, no, you don't need abs. You need carbs. Have an apple. Anyway, so these men kind of not instantly turned north, but they're going to go out of town and then head north. So my hope is, with them changing direction, the horde will change direction and follow them north. So we shall see. They said that they would keep in contact with us. They have radio equipment and that sort of thing. And, we basically set up information so we can maybe keep in touch. But they aren't really looking to necessarily settle someplace. I think that they're going to head to the pikers just to divert the horde from, us, etc. But, yeah. Anyway. So we had that, and we pretty much met with them and then came back home. And every time I come back home, the amount of work that they have done to prepare for this huge horde is just astounding. You know, I said last week we are doozers. We just build and build and build. And yeah, and when the Fraggles come, or the zombies in this case, and eat our structures, we let them leave, and then we build and build and build again. And it is both impressive and amazing to me, as well as exhausting. You know, there's just a certain amount of, whew, we gotta do that again. Yikes. So anyway, I don't have more news than that, but I do want to say, for everybody who is paying attention, that the numbers today are 2, 22, and 17. And I also want to let you know that the weather in Southern Illinois has been very, very nice. We have heard from Missouri that the weather there is very nice. So far, no clouds on the horizon and nice sunny skies. But if we have any weather that we hear about, we will let you know, because we are rapidly going into tornado season. I mean, it's not really a season, but this is where the weather fluctuates and things get wonky. So if we hear of any news, we will come on and tell you. But if you are not with a group of people, just remember, I wasn't for a long time either. And if you fear for your sanity, that's normal. We are not meant to be alone. Humans are communal creatures. Even the most introverted of us needs other people. So my advice to you is do anything you can to survive, and find others if you can. If you can find a radio where people are maybe in your area broadcasting safe spots, listen to it. And above all, survive, survive, survive. This is DJ Clueless. Until next time. This is Harper signing off for now. Remember, the world is still turning, even if it feels like we're standing still. Survive, adapt, endure. As the dust settles, we are rising again. We are rebuilding from the ashes. Until then, keep moving, keep fighting, and whatever you do, survive.